This tutorial is on understanding source types, primary, secondary, and tertiary sources. It is part 2 in our Search for Sources series. After watching this tutorial, you'll understand the difference between primary, secondary, and tertiary sources. As you're finding information for your project, it's important to be able to tell what kinds of sources they are. In many fields, you'll find primary and secondary sources. These words refer to who created the work. Primary sources are created by someone who experienced something firsthand. In history and the humanities, this often means an event or time period, like the Civil War. In the sciences and medicine, this often means an experiment or study, like methods of foot amputation. Some other examples of primary sources are diaries, journals, letters, telegrams, emails, blog entries, newspaper articles, photographs, speeches, art, memoirs, interviews, government documents, lab reports, and research studies. Secondary sources are created by someone else, often later, who views the primary sources and provides commentary, context, or analysis. Some examples of secondary sources are newspaper articles, photographs, art, commentaries, review articles, and literature reviews. Some fields may also have tertiary sources. These sources are created by someone else who views the secondary sources and summarizes them for a wider audience. Some examples of tertiary sources are encyclopedia articles, dictionaries, textbooks, and newspaper articles. One thing to remember is that some sources, like news articles and art, can be both primary and secondary. That's confusing, isn't it? Keep in mind that it's the content of the source that's important, not necessarily the format. For example, a newspaper article about the Battle of Gettysburg, published in 1863, would be a primary source because it was written at the time. A 2013 article published in that same newspaper that discusses the anniversary of the battle would be a secondary source. Both are newspaper articles, but both cover the content from different perspectives. One way to tell if something is a primary or a secondary source is to picture how close they are to the event they're describing. In history and the social sciences, it might look like this. The event is the Civil War taking place from 1861 to 1865. The primary author is a soldier from Manassas, Virginia, who keeps a diary of his experiences during the Civil War. The secondary author is a journalist for a newspaper in Manassas, Virginia, who publishes an article in 1885 reflecting on the Civil War. The tertiary author is a contributor to Wikipedia who adds information about Civil War monuments in Virginia. In the hard sciences and medicine, the event is often a study, trial, or experiment of some sort. The event is soldiers who are having limbs amputated and are given one of 2 anesthesia drugs to see which one is more effective. The primary author is the researcher who performed the study on the soldiers. The secondary author is a reviewer who reads several articles about anesthesia and writes an article summarizing the best dosage. The tertiary author is a reporter for the health beat of the Washington Post who shares the newest information about anesthesia drugs. As you view more types of sources, it will become easier to tell if they're primary, secondary, or tertiary. Thanks for watching. Contact the library if you'd like assistance. If you'd like to share feedback on this tutorial, you can do so at the link or QR code on your screen.